What's going on, everybody? Randy here, and I have a special guest this evening, Mr. Josh Hudson, legendary Satellite Beach skateboarder. Josh, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Man, I just wanted to sit down, and we're here at Josh's beautiful, humble abode. We're sitting on the mini ramp right now. We're going to skate here in a little bit. One of his daughters hanging out in the pool. We might dip in there too. But Josh, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the skateboard scene here in Satellite Beach, you growing up. I'm from the other side of America, in California, Southern California, growing up there in the skateboard scene, traveling around. I was sponsored, got to skate in a bunch of competitions, had some video parts, made a little bit of money, and had a really good time doing it. But for me, at the time, we had influential skateboarders that I would either be in a van with, a hotel room with, partying with, but I was about 16, 17, 18 years old at these times, and these guys were influencing me in a way that was destructive to my skateboard career. And I just became, a super big partier, and my focus got off of my board and more into the personal, social life. But there was this crew back then called the Piss Drunks. I don't remember if you know them, but everybody wanted to be like them. That's where the tight jeans came from, the long hair, all the whole kind of anarchist skateboard movement at that time when I was coming up. But that influenced me to get into the party scene more than it did to further my skateboard career. And through that, I kind of lost track of that, and sponsors had dropped me and everything. But your story's a little bit different, actually. You were able to remain a Christian the whole time and are still in the skate industry now at this time. And you're a rep for Treehouse Distribution.
Correct.
Which is a Christian owned and branded.
Christian brands are housed there.
Okay.
It's a secular distribution, but it's cool enough to let us have the distribution to be able to infiltrate shops all over the country and world with our Christian brands. Yeah.
Awesome. So just tell me a little bit about that journey.
So yeah, my journey started when I was just for my 13th birthday. I was over at a friend's house. We were shooting some basketball. The Will Smith story. Not quite exactly Will Smith story, but yeah, this dude, his sister had like this old Tony Hawk board, and they started oiling over 2x4, and it's like old school, big old fat tail and little nose, and I thought that was the coolest thing I ever seen. So I dropped trying to be a baller. And went home and asked my parents for a skateboard. They're like, whatever, you're not going to stick with it, so we'll go to Sports Authority, hook you up with a little $30
the Veriflex.
little Nash, plastic truck deal. And I would love to actually say that I did remain a Christian the whole time, but there was a couple backslidden years. I knew the truth. I knew what was what, but it's just easy to get sucked into that party scene.
Yeah.
I grew up in that Baker 2G phase with the Piss Drunks, Dustin Dolan, Sumner, who obviously now is a real big, evangelical.
Absolutely,
yeah. He's a changed life. Has soy. There's
Jay
Lance
Haslett.
Mount. Yeah, there's a bunch of dudes that have really really sick gnarly stories. But yeah, till I was about 16 is when I really started getting, I got a car. So you get a little bit of freedom, and all of a sudden you get, it's real easy to get sucked in. So yeah, I skated the whole time, here and there, I wasn't, trying to do whatever with whoever was cool at that time to hang out with and go party with, stuff like that. But yeah, no, my story was, I kind of lived that way for 3 or 4 years. And just started feeling real empty inside, and a hole that nothing, not at skateboarding, girls' cars, whatever, just couldn't fill. I had a Blazer on 20-inch rims. I had 412s in the background. I did the car club thing. I tried filling that void with a lot of stuff, and back in here, I kind of heard the Lord always like, hey, dude, what's up?
Yeah.
One Easter Sunday, I was like, all right, God, I've been doing this on my own too long, so. Gave my life back to the Lord that Easter Sunday. Literally like a week later, started talking to the girl that's now my wife, and been doing skate ministry ever since. Like I pretty much just said, okay, well, everything that you've given me, these gifts, these talents, these passions, I just want to use them to glorify God. And it started off, just kind of emailing some companies. Like I just started emailing whatever skate ministry company was out there, and eventually, literally, God brought me back to square one. My very first job was at Ocean Avenue Distribution. Okay. I used to bag hardware like 2 days a week after school. Little heat press. Count 8 nuts, 8 bolts. Anyway, so yeah, I started out, just going back there, sweeping, making completes, just doing whatever. And about a year later, the Lord opened the door for me to be in sales. And man, kind of the rest is history. I spent 12 years there as an in-house sales rep, and was able to get Siren skateboards and Embrace wheels, Reliant skateboards, Untitled. We carried a Soy for a short time. Was able to get a lot of these, these Christian-owned brands, into a more secular light, which is really cool. It was a very, very blessed, humbling experience. Like I was humbled at the fact that the Lord used me to be able to get those boards in distribution. And then now, 2 years later, just about to the date almost, I've been with Treehouse Distribution, and obviously we manufacture and supplied Siren, Embrace. We got a couple other brands. We have a house brand called Lightspeed. We got layback longboards, trigger grip tape, stuff like that. And it's allowed me to work from home on the run, on the road whenever, and between that and then my satellite skate park job, it's just the Lord's really worked really cool in my skate career thus far.
I've been able to put you in a lot of areas with teenagers, with people in the corporate skateboard world, and you have teenagers yourself.
Yeah, I have 2 teenage girls now. Yep, 13 and 14, and then my 9-year-old, she just turned 9 back there, spying on us while we do this little interview.
So, as as a young man coming up in this area, we all have choices to make, and now as a father, looking back, what piece of advice would you give a young person who's just trying to follow their dreams, trying to have fun, enjoy life? They want a balance, but maybe they're not worried right now about God's will for their life, so they might be tempted and leaning into some other things that God doesn't necessarily have for them. And so, like in your struggle in raising your girls, what could you tell us to say, like, hey, in order to pursue your purpose, in order to experience the things that God wants you to experience?
I mean, my best advice is literally don't get sucked in.
Yeah.
Don't get sucked into that scene. I mean, it's way too easy. It's so tempting, and it looks like so much fun. And it is in that moment. But you have to think long term.
There's a season,
right? You have to think about long term effects of the decisions you're making now. When I was a kid, teachers and guidance counselors say, yeah, the decisions you're making now are going to affect the rest of your life. We're like, yeah, whatever. You tell us that. You're grown-ups, whatever. But no, it's true.
Yeah.
Take it from me, it's true.
Yep.
It's very true. And I was actually just reminiscing with an old friend. Man, some of the stuff we did back in the day, we're lucky to be alive right now.
Yeah, right?
Just the stupid stunts we pulled. And, I'm not saying don't have fun. Absolutely, by all means. This thing is fun. Just eyes on the prize. If you want to be a professional skateboarder, absolutely go try to be a professional skateboarder. I'm all for it. I see kids at the satellite park all the time hucking themselves, just wrecking their bodies, and I can't quite do that as much as I used to. I used to ollie off whatever drop I could find, or kickflip whatever stair set I could find, or just do whatever. But
in pursuing your passion, the thing that you want, also pursue the life that God has for you too, because He's really going to use that, because He put that inside of you. You had a plan to become a professional skateboarder.
Absolutely.
He had a plan for you to glorify His name.
No.
Okay, well, you know what? If I put you over here, Josh, you may not follow me as easily as you would in sales.
Absolutely.
And working in the community and doing this. So, Josh, I appreciate you sharing your story, sharing your pad with us. Until next time, guys. See you later. Old Men Trying to Skate, take 1. Tune in next week.